Would you tell us a little bit about her and kind of why she's so amazing?
Uh, um, allora, Rosso Matilde is the first wine we produced when we decided to be a winemaker. So the first wine we produced is dedicated to Matilde di Canossa, who was, I think, the biggest countess in the Middle Age in Italy. She was a really powerful woman because she had the power with the Pope and the Emperor. So she was really, really clever, and she. I always said that she used to play with men and she won all her wars because with wine and with great ideas she won all the wars with the Pope and the Emperor. And in our area, she was really, really important. She had a key role in our area because she reclaimed our lands around San Benedetto. And we had a monastery in San Benedetto with the friar. And she told to the friar that the Lambrusco plant, that was a wild plant in the origin, in the Middle Age, she thought that Lambrusco plants was interesting. So she told to the friar, why don't you try to cultivate Lambrusco plants? And she had this great idea. So if today we are a Lambrusco winemaker, it's thanks to her because she had this great idea.
Oh, amazing. You know, I love, yeah, it's always, wine is a very convincing thing. You know, it's a good way to convincing
Yeah.
people. That's such a cool story. Thank you so much for sharing. How did you and Giuseppe get into wine? What was your, or do you come from winemaking families? Is this, what was it, a passion project, you know, and why this type of wine?
Okay, Bugno Martino is not a secular winery. My husband and me, Bugno Martino is a love story winery. First of all, is a love winery because we fall in love 20 years ago, and we had our different job in different branches, but we always have been wine lover. So we used to spend our holidays and our free time visiting the small winery producing natural and artisan wine. One day, my Giuseppe father, Giovanni, decided to retire. He had an old family farm. So when he retired, we discovered by analyzing the soils of our farm that the soils were perfect to plant our vineyards and to start to work with organic method. So we left our jobs and we decided to turn our passion into a job. So we started to plant our first vineyard 15 years ago. And today we have 9 hectares of Lambrusco vineyard, of organic Lambrusco vineyard.
Oh, amazing. That's congratulations.
And we have always had clear in our mind what type of Lambrusco we wanted to produce, because you know that there are billions of bottles of Lambrusco all over the world. Also in our area, in Mantova, there are a lot of Lambrusco, because in Mantova we drink a lot of Lambrusco. But all the most of producer produce with conventional method, okay? And we wanted to make a different wine, an artisan wine. So it was important for us to cultivate in an organic way and to own our own cellar and our own winery, because you need to follow all the works from the cultivation in the field and the works in the cellar. And so if you want to have an artisan wine, you have to have the control of what you do from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's so, exactly what you're saying is why we started Maison de la Muse as well. We really believe in this, in this natural organic wine movement, because there are these companies making huge, like just thousands of bottles of wine, and then it'll make, the customer kind of sick, and that doesn't really work. Do you find that in the area around you or in Italy in general, there is this resurgence of organic winemaking, people trying to go back to basics? Do you feel like maybe there never really was a difference, or do you think more people are doing natural wine in Italy now?
Yes, yes. First of all, there is an artisan and natural movement of producer that is working very well, and the number of the producer is increasing. And the wine that we obtain are really different from conventional wine. So people is approaching to this type of wine. Sometimes they are afraid because they don't know what they expect from natural wines. But then when they taste natural wines, they discover that this type of wines are the true wines. So, so usually people love natural wine, and also this type of production is improving in Italy. Yes, because people love natural wine. Yes.
Should we go into a little bit about the actual this wine, about the
sure.
Lambrusco Salamino?
Yeah.
Since we're speaking about the wine, and my mouth's starting to water, but so now Lambrusco Salamino is the main variety of grape you're using to make this wine pictured here. Again, like what we said earlier, there's multiple varieties of grapes, Chardonnay, etc. In each of those, there's even more. You can kind of picture it as like a
subcategory.
Yeah, a subcategory, right? Kind of filtering down. So this particular Lambrusco, the primary grape being made is the Lambrusco Salamino, seen here. And then as well as, I can never pronounce it, I'm sorry, the Ancelotti or something as well. I'll let you say that. But what about this grape is so special? What's the characteristics of this grape?
Salamino has marked flavors, and it's famous for its great acidity with biting scents. You see that has a small cylindrical cluster with compact density. It has a thick peel with a dark blue violet color, and it's famous also for its acidity, but also for its tannins. So the wines that come from Lambrusco Salamino are usually long-lasting. You say long-lasting? Durano? Yeah, okay. They're long lasting with pleasant tannins. And it's a great vine. Yes, it's the type of vine that we use the most, but also the most of producer of Lambrusco use the most because it's the characteristic, it's the features of Lambrusco is the great acidity, and in Italian, brusco means it's difficult. Means raw. Means not sweet. Okay, it's the opposite of sweet. Okay, and the features, the main features of Salamino is this feeling in the mouth. When you taste a wine that comes from Salamino, you taste brusco. Okay,
Mm.
so it's this type of sensation.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
That it doesn't exist an English word for brusco because I searched, I looked for a correct translation of brusco, and it doesn't exist. No,
Yeah.
you taste Lambrusco if you want to know what does brusco means.
Perfect. That's the perfect. We'll have to just taste your Lambrusco to do it. Yeah, okay. Well, oh yeah, there's Adrian has said in the chat, and I think it's similar. Is it kind of like Brut, right? So like a champagne Brut, is Brut the French of Brusco, kind of similar, right? So if you know in Champagne, like if you're going to the store and you see Brut, extra Brut, dry, sparkling, you know that Brut is gonna be not so sweet, right? It'll be the least sweet that you can get. I think there's probably a bit of a misconception sometimes in America, especially around older generations with Lambrusco, because it was sort of in the 1970s imported the same way as maybe like a white Zinfandel or something like that. So we had very sweet, very bubbly dessert Lambruscos here for a long time. So I know some people are always a little hesitant about a Lambrusco, but it's great because I think a lot of people are also, especially younger people, have never even heard of a Lambrusco, and we're finding that like a lot of our friends are just loving it. It's such a unique wine that really does have the characteristics of, you know, the fun of a champagne with the seriousness of a red. You sorry, there's a squirrel kind of acting crazy behind us. I'm wondering if we should start tasting it, if you have any other questions right now. I'm tempted to, I know a lot of you guys don't have the wine with you, but I'm tempted to just do a little, since she just was talking about the mouthfeel and you can see the color and everything else, I wanted to show what this wine really looks like, because it's one of the most fun wines to kind of pour. It really has a foamy, wonderful quality. So as I pour it, you can see it kind of foams up, which you don't always get with a lot of wines. It's a beautiful, beautiful kind of dark purple, sort of inky color, and it just smells so good. It just smells like cherries. You get some definitely fruits and other things. And sorry, and it is for sale from both us and Sheila, but we'll tell you a little bit more about that after. Oh, great. Thank you, Brusco. So that's how that is. Thank you, Sheila. So one other thing we wanted to, sorry, my brain just, so the one thing we wanted to do as well, like we know you guys don't always have the wine, but it's fun to want to talk about how you do a little tasting. So something you always want to do when you're doing a tasting, you look at the color, like we said, you give it a little smell, a little swirl, that gives you a little extra thought. You do that, and then you get to just drink the wine, which is the most fun part. And this wine really is it's just delicious. So it's really a well-balanced, fun wine. And Raffaella, what would you explain is the personality of this wine? What is this wine? Who should be drinking this wine? What's the personality? And then also a very important question for Italian wine: what food should we be eating with this wine?
First of all, Lambrusco is the wine of the joy. So think about the moment in which you want to drink Lambrusco. Because Lambrusco is not a difficult wine, okay? So it don't have 14 degree, okay? So it's a pleasant wine. It has the bubble. So in Italy, we say that Lambrusco is the wine of the joy. Everyone says this thing. And you can drink it as aperitif. It's perfect. Or with meat, or with pasta. In America, you also eat pasta with cooked vegetables, pizza. Okay, so Rosso Matilde is not a difficult wine. It's not difficult to find a wine pairing, because there is Salamino and Ancellotta in Rosso Matilde. So Ancellotta is a type of wine that gives a little bit of sugar. So Rosso Matilde is dry, but it's not too much dry. So it's perfect with the fat food, okay, because the acidity and the tannins cleanse the mouth, but also with something more simple. It's a very easy wine, Rosso Matilde. Yes, you can drink. We often drink it as aperitif, I have to say, because in Italy, oh yes, with rice. My husband says with rice. Ma in California mangiano poco riso. In California, you eat riso.
Rice.
Yes. Okay. Also with rice. So
we have a recipe on our website, verovinogusto.com, for, it's called Riso della Pilota. And when I went to visit Raffaella and Giuseppe last year, I think it was actually Giuseppe that was cooking. And it was, so you should check out the recipe. You can make it yourself. It's pretty easy, I think, to make.
Yes. And so you can drink Rosso Matilde in every moment. It's not a problem. Think that in Italy, in the last 2 or 3 years, as aperitif, people in the pub used to drink just Prosecco. Okay, you know Prosecco. Okay. In this moment, Prosecco is going down in Italy, and the people look for bubble, because bubbles are really are pleasant to drink, and now people start to have aperitif with Lambrusco. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And also with the pork, you know that in Mantova there are 7 pigs for people. So Lambrusco and pork go together usually.
They're very closely intertwined.
Yes.
Il Lambrusco nasce col maiale.
Yes, because there is a theory that A wine is born, wait, because it's difficult. A wine born in a certain area for nature, with the correct wine pairing, okay? It's not a man work, it's a work of nature. In fact, Mantova area have always had a lot of pigs from the Middle Age. We had a lot of pigs, and the vines that we can cultivate that are autochthonous in our area are vines that have a great acidity. So vines that give wine that are useful for fat food. You understand?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think going off of that, something I'm kind of curious is, other than just grapes on your farm, do you have anything else that you're growing? And then with that, what does a typical day look like for you as a winemaker? I'm sure it's different than what I do every day.
Okay. No, the days are always different, because our farm is of 70 hectares. We have 9 hectares of vineyard, and then we have 70 hectares where we cultivate ancient grains, sunflower, soybean, corn, alfalfa for Parmesan, because our village is the first village where we can produce Parmesan, Parmigiano Reggiano, okay? Okay. And then we have field bean. And so our days are always very busy, because you fit the king of the cheese, yes. And it's perfect with Lambrusco, you know, Parmigiano Reggiano and salami and salumi. And it's very busy days, because there are some months in the year where you work especially in the vineyard, and usually from January to March we make the pruning. We make a special pruning because we use low yield, so we produce few grape for plants. So in this way we gain high quality in the grape, and we don't need to use any additions in the wine, such as color, tannins, sugar, okay? And so from January to March, we work with the pruning. Then from March to August, July, we work with prevention of the eel in the vineyard. So we have to take care of our vines and to prevent the illness of the humidities. It's really important. And then we have to work the field for all the other cultivation, because you know that working in organic way, you have to work with the prevention, because you can't use any chemical products, okay? We don't use only organic method, we use also biodynamic method. We just started to use 2 years ago, because we think that it's really important, the wellness of our ground and our plants, because if our ground and our soils are alive with insects, so much insects and so much animals in our farm, the plants and the grape are really good, and so the wine is better. So this is our philosophy. We just use in the vineyard, we just use sulfur and copper for prevention, and brown algae are really important to raise the plant's immune defenses. Okay, and then we make for I think moth is an insect, is a bad insect. We use the laces of sexual confusion. We put by hand these laces. The moth works in pairs, male and female, and this laces confuses the male. So he can't find the female, okay, and does not reproduce. So it's the end of love story of the moth, but we have to do this because it's really important to avoid the moth. And all our work are important to recreate life in the soil, and because with conventional agriculture you don't have a great life in soils, and we need that our soils are balanced in the long term. So it's our idea of cultivating the field with natural agriculture. Then another thing really important that we make that has it's really important also for the time that we dedicate. It's green manures. You know what is green manures?
Green manure. Yeah.
It's sovesci in Italiano. Also, a lot of people in Italian, if you say sovesci, don't know what is a sovesci, because it's a very specific thing. So sovesci, it's like a supply of humus, okay? They reconstruct the land and the field. They make more aerated, more air, more oxygen in the field. More oxygen in the field means less water stagnation, help the formation of natural vegetables, humus. So we use manure horn, cornoletame. It's another difficult thing. It's all biodynamic method, okay? But this type of method, I don't want to be too much technical, but they are fundamental, not important, fundamental for the field, because when you come, I hope that you can come in our farm in Italy. I suggest May is the best month in the year. You have a lot of colors, a lot of animals, a lot of insects, such as we have a lot of bugs. Okay, a lot of bee. You can see a lot of colors, because we have also the flowers that are important for all the correct working. And there are a lot of flavors, so it's a fantastic. I'm going to send you some pictures and some video in May next year, so you can. I'm going to describe the perfume that you but I will show you how is our farm in May. It's fantastic.
You have a lot of, you might have like 17 guests coming, because that sounds pretty nice after. I don't know about the rest of you. I think we're all ready for a trip to Italy. I think that sounds pretty nice. So sounds good. May? Great. Well, we're all there.
It's perfect because it's not too hot yet. So it's perfect.
It's that 1 month with a okay humidity. Just enough. Oh, well, amazing. So we have a little bit of time left. You had like one more question, and then we'll open it to questions.
Kind of my last question is part of one of the reasons we started Maison de la Muse, our company, is because we really wanted to focus on female winemakers. It was something that we weren't seeing as often, and we wanted to kind of find all the amazing female winemakers out there and bring them to other people. So my question, I guess, is what has your experience been as a female in this industry? Have you found it easy? Have you found it hard? Is it funny? What do you think?
Oh, it's really funny. It depends what you intend for funny. It's the wine world is a man world, okay? But I think that I'm really lucky, because I always met great people that help us to start, that help us today, every day. So I think that the wine world is an elegant world, because if you drink wine and you know the type of wine that you're drinking, so you don't drink just to drink, it's a Coke, it's a wine, it's water, it's the same, okay? So if you have the sensibility, you say sensibility, okay, to approach wine as producer or as a wine lover, you are an elegant person. Everyone in its way, okay? And I always found elegant people. So I'm really lucky. And also in Italy, it's increasing the number of female producer. So you know that artisan winemaker usually are really closed. They make their wine, and if you love it, okay. If you don't love it, it's the same. And, woman has a different sensibility. So we always speak about our wine, about the reason that that move us every day to do our job. That is a great job, but it's a difficult job, because we have to work with nature. We have to work with the coronavirus. So it's really difficult. We are always busy, and the woman has the chance to to do a lot of things in the same time. We say that woman is multitasking, okay? And to be a wine producer, you have to be multitasking.
Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful industry. Like you were saying, there are, the people of everything, but you can really find these people and, even everyone who's on the call today, right? You're just like, everyone loves wine. It's a really, really ancient thing. It's something almost like art. And when we started Maison de la Muse too, we were really wanting to bring wine to more people, especially natural wine, make it more accessible. And that's sort of one of our intentions behind this Zoom and this digital series. We're going to probably be doing more of these in the new year, focusing especially on women winemakers. So we're really excited that you guys are all here. So thank you so much, Rafaela. If anyone has any questions, we'd love to open it up to questions or comments or anything else you might be interested in on this Sunday morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are.
We have Jackie that's monitoring Facebook. So Jackie, you might want to ask if anyone in Facebook have questions too.
And then we also can know, well, if you do the next slide, Sheila, if anyone's interested after this talk of buying the wine, if you're in California, you can get it from us at maisondelamuse.com. And if you're outside California, Sheila does ship to certain states. So I think most of the people here, she would ship to. Sheila, do you ship to Montana? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so? Okay, great. So I think she also ships to Montana. So yeah, so that as well. How many we have a question, a couple questions. So first, how has COVID-19 affected your business this year? So much.
Much, yes. I think that COVID affected a lot of business, not just wine, because it's a great problem for a lot of work, unfortunately. I think that we are lucky because we are safe. So this is the most important. Just a moment, because the battery is going down. Okay. Okay. We had a lot of problems because we work with restaurants. So restaurants are closed. In Italy, restaurants opened today after more than 1 month closed. They were open just in this summer, 3 months, and from March to June, I think, they were closed. So, yeah, it was difficult for us, but I think that COVID also brought the curiosity to people that a lot of persons were closed in their home, so they started to drink and yes, there was a great curiosity on wine, on the wine, and also on Lambrusco. So it was fantastic because a lot of people is approaching to the wine world, and it has been the right moment to start to study and to taste new wines. So I think that it's a positive thing of this COVID.
Yeah, definitely. I know we have been drinking many bottles of wine, many bottles of your Rosso Matilde. How many bottles per year do you make of this wine? And then I know Rafaela actually has some other wines as well. So maybe how many bottles of this, and then maybe your total production number as well.
I produce 7,000 bottles per year of Rosso Matilde, and 30,000 bottles in the year with all the other labels.
And then kind of building on that, what makes Lambrusco bubbly?
Not always bubbly, right? It doesn't have to be bubbly.
Sorry?
Does it always have to be bubbly or doesn't have to be bubbly?
No, Lambrusco has to be bubbly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Lambrusco make 2 fermentation, okay? Everyone makes 2 fermentations. When you want to have a bubble, when you want to have bubbles in the wine, you have to make a second fermentation. For Rosso Matilde, we make a fermentation in the still or in the autoclave, okay? With the yeast, we use lievity yeasts, you know, okay? So you put the yeast that contain the sugar, okay? They start a second fermentation with the wine, and you have the bubble. You have the bubble or in the autoclave, or you can make a second fermentation in the bottle. But Rosso Matilde is in the autoclave. We produce both Charmat method, both fermented in bottle. The difference is that Charmat method are much more fruity. So the bubbles are thin, okay, and we leave the wine. Rosso Matilde stay from 4 to 5 months in the autoclave, and so you have a persistent bubble because we use natural yeast and the fermentation is really, really long. So if you drink a glass of Rosso Matilde, okay, you see the bubble is really thin. You close you don't finish the bottle, okay? You close the bottle with the right cork, okay? Then you reopen the bottle after 1 day, 2 days, okay? And you find always the same bubble. And this really, it's really important because if you make a too fast fermentation, you have the bubble now, and in 2 hours, the bubbles are different or disappear. But if you make a long fermentation and a natural fermentation, your bubble continues, okay?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Great. The next, we have 2 more questions. The next one is, does the humidity of your land give your wine a unique character, or is that common in the whole Lambrusco producing region?
No, it's not common features because Lambrusco is produced for the most in Emilia-Romagna, which is the region under Lombardy, so under our region, and in Emilia-Romagna there are a lot of hills. If you know Lambrusco di Sorbara, Grasparossa are different type of Lambrusco, and all the field are in the hills. So their climate is completely different.
What Raphael is referring to is the what you see in the lower part of the map on the screen. Parma, Reggio Emilia, and Modena. That's more hilly.
And just
so
the smallest change.
Emilia-Romagna is not Sicily, okay? They have a lot of humidity, but we win. We win with humidity. Yes. In Mantova, we have a lot of humidity. Yes.
All right, and the last question we have, is there a lot of co-production of Sangiovese and Lambrusco?
No, I know that. Is there a lot of co-production of Sangiovese and Lambrusco? What does it mean? That we make wine with Lambrusco and Sangiovese?
Yeah, because it's Bruce. Do you want to ask it? You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, having spent time in Bologna. Hi, salve.
Okay.
Grazie. Having spent time in Bologna, I just remember, and this was a long time ago, but the wine that sort of was the standard was Sangiovese. I mean, that's what everybody had if you went to get red wine. And I'm just curious to understand maybe how Lambrusco has maybe come up in the last period of time as more popular.
Okay. Yes, because Sangiovese is a wine that is also produced in Emilia-Romagna, and in Tuscany, which is near Emilia-Romagna. Lambrusco is obtaining a good reputation. So we are improving in our reputation. I think that in reality, Lambrusco had a better reputation for all the billions of bottles that were produced in the 70s and the 80s. But Lambrusco is a wine that has nothing to envy to other type of wines. You have to produce Lambrusco in the correct way. And the correct way is few bottles with low production. You have to work in artisan way, in organic way. You have to use a lot of manual job, okay? And if you pay attention to your field and to your job, Lambrusco is can obtain the right reputation, okay, the right value. You know that it's two years, this year and last year, that some colleagues of they are Lambrusco winemakers. They won a lot of premi, come si dice?
What's the word?
Premi in inglese. They
Words.
Okay, they won a lot of awards with Lambrusco in an international competition of sparkling wine. So there were champagne, there were a lot of wines, and Lambrusco had some awards. So it means that Lambrusco is improving. And so this is really, really important, because also in this type of competition, where usually champagne wins everything, okay? If you see a Lambrusco, this means that we are making great wines. So it's really important to continue to work in the correct way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I feel like now we have a bunch more people who know a lot more about Lambrusco now. I know I learned so much. I really, really appreciate you taking your time on your Sunday evening, and Sheila for organizing, and everyone for joining. Thank you so much. Again, if you'd like to try Rafaela's Lambrusco, we have the Rosa Matilde for sale on maisondelamuse.com. And if you're in California, outside of California, on verovinogusto.com. And thank you so much. We hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and a good holiday season too, because apparently those are right around the corner.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Buon
Thank
Natale.
Buon Natale.
Buon Natale. Sì, buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
Thank you.